Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes lawyers can be the reason for your victory and also your downfall in court cases, such as this one. So, several videos back, I did a video about Monsanto Roundup weed killer. And there was a man who he ended up having a reaction from this weed killer, and he ended up with lymphoma cancer. Well, Champagne Remark may cost a lawyer 289 million Bear Award. So this is out of the business, out of Yahoo. Sometimes you got to know what to say, when to say it, and how to be quiet, especially in court. Bloomberg, here's the Roundup weed killer. And this was a case that is ongoing. And now it's still going on because of a remark. A Champagne Remark may cost the lawyer $289 million in Bear Award. The lawyer most responsible for winning a $289 million verdict against Bear AG may end up wiping it out. He may have said a little too much. Brent Wisner was the lead trial attorney who in August convinced the jury that Monsanto, the company's Roundup weed killer, caused his client cancer. His compelling arguments and marshaling of evidence resulted in a blockbuster verdict that has spooked investors looking ahead to thousands of similar lawsuits across the U.S. pending against Monsanto's weed killer, which Bayer acquired in June. But Wisner's closing argument tossing the verdict and ordering a whole new trial. So the lawyer told jurors that Monsanto executives in a company boardroom were waiting for the phone to ring, and that behind them is a bunch of champagne on ice, according to a court filing. He said that if the damages number isn't significant enough, champagne corks will pop. At a hearing Wednesday, San Francisco Judge Suzanne Ramos Bolanos cited a number of reasons why she's inclined to set aside or dramatically cut the verdict. But she signaled out the champagne comment as she questioned whether Wisner's impassioned rhetoric crossed the line. Wisner also told jurors their decision could change the world and they could be a part of history. Bolanos said that the comments may prove sufficiently prejudicial to warrant a new trial. What's next in court for Bayer Crop Chemicals claims? Okay, so that's similar or a related story. So the judge reminded Wisner, who joined the hearing by telephone, that she took him aside during the trial's closing arguments and warned him about that champagne comment. So in front of the jury, you disregarded my order and again repeated the same objectionable statement, she said. Bolanos was incredulous when Wisner seemed to suggest that he wasn't aware of the objection to the champagne reference in particular. So we believe that there was more than an adequate evidence provided to this attentive, highly educated jury supporting each of their findings. Baum, Hedlund, Ariste, and Goldman, P.C. Wisner law firm, said in a statement, it will be up to the courts of appeals to review the evidence and this unanimous jury's findings in a light most favorable to Lee Johnson. Monsanto ordered to pay $289 million in Roundup cancer trial. So last year, a federal judge in San Francisco handling hundreds of Roundup lawsuits against Monsanto threatened to remove Wisner or his firm from the massive litigation because the lawyer made headlines when he publicly released company emails that his firm said demonstrated manipulation of the public opinion about the Roundup's health risk. PR man, Wisner was not focused on being a lawyer. He was focused on being a PR man. U.S. District Judge Vince Chahabria said at a hearing, he was more focused in getting these documents released and getting them released fast than he was in being a lawyer. Monsanto's lawyer, George Lombardi, told Bolanos the champagne comment was thumbing his nose at the judge. Think of the image that creates, he said. It was objected to. It was not factual. It is punishing Monsanto for having a board member. It's punishing Monsanto's for being a big company. By the end of the hearing, Bolano said that she was considering options, including setting aside the punitive damages of $250 million, whittling it down to the compensatory damages from $33 million to about $9 million, and ordering a new trial. American depository shares of Leverkusen, Germany-based Bayer jumped from 6.3% Wednesday to close at $79.50 in New York. And so the judge is examining the company's arguments that there's no basis for the jury to conclude that Monsanto is liable for plaintiff Lee Johnson's non-Hodgkin's lymphoma based on his exposure to the key ingredient in Roundup, glyphosate. Lombardi said that the medical evidence at the trial was legally insufficient to prove exposure to Roundup's whether it caused Johnson's disease. So he argued that the diagnosis provided by the plaintiff's medical expert was extraordinarily simplistic and deceptive. Michael Miller, a lawyer for Johnson, told Bolanos that there's not a scintilla of evidence that the well-educated, very attentive, note-taking jury didn't follow the judge's instructions. So while Miller acknowledged that the plaintiff might have lost if the case was decided by Bolanos, he said that there was no error that justifies taking away a verdict of a dying man. The case is Dwayne Johnson versus Monsanto, CO. And so California Superior Court, County of San Francisco. And so if you heard about this story previous, the plaintiff, Dwayne Johnson, is a Black resident. He was a guy that I believe he's a custodian. And so I believe, let me see here, Dwayne Johnson. Okay, so I think I will show a picture. Okay, so this is the case of Dwayne Johnson versus Monsanto Company. Okay, Monsanto to pay this amount, which was $289.2 million in landmark Roundup lawsuit verdict. But we know what has happened with that. And so this is pictured here. Lee, who was diagnosed with the T-cell lymphoma, the cancer, and so this is what it's done to his skin. And so you can see him here with his what looked like maybe his children, I'm guessing. So don't hold me to it. I don't know if this is in fact his sons, but you see his face, and up here you see how his hand looks from this. Okay, so in August of 2014, Lee was diagnosed with epidermotropic T-cell lymphoma. After his diagnosis, his job still required him to apply and be in close contact with Monsanto glyphosate-based herbicides. Despite enduring chemotherapy treatments throughout 2015, Mr. Johnson's cancer had progressed till in September of 2017. A biopsy revealed a mycosis fungoides non-Hodgkin lymphoma with large cell transformation. And so you see this all over his hands, and he had some peeling skin on the face. So Mr. Johnson filed the Roundup cancer lawsuit against Monsanto in 2016, and he is represented by a Miller's firm, Baum, Hedlund, Ariste, and Goldman. And so in the documents below, you will find trial transcripts and exhibits and posted 48-hour delay and other court documents on Dwayne Johnson versus Monsanto Company. So for access to the all public documents in the case, you can view the docket via the Superior Court of California County in San Francisco. So they even show you the court findings and the paperwork. And so this is him here, Dwayne Johnson versus Monsanto trial transcripts. And so now they're talking of starting a whole new trial. And because of that comment that that lawyer made, now puts this man's situation and his health at a disadvantage for receiving compensation for what he's experiencing in this cancer. And so this is an ongoing problem. Also, other people have complained that the ingredient in this Roundup weed killer possibly has also caused other people some health problems that are cancer related. And so the people that are involved in this Roundup weed killer and this ingredient in the lawsuit, which looks like it's something that might be a class action or maybe something a lot greater than even that. Now this one case may jeopardize all of that because of a comment that was made, a champagne remark. What are your thoughts and feedback on this? Up here, see a photo of Dwayne Johnson versus Monsanto Company, California's state court. And so this whole thing seemed like this was going to be a big payout, but because of one remark, it has now jeopardized the whole thing. So this is pretty much where they're at right now. And so it's probably whittled down to where, you know, when they get through, there won't be a really big payout at all on this, all because of somebody saying something that will jeopardize the whole court case. And so it's important on what you say and when to say it and when not to say it. And in court, you don't want to say things that'll jeopardize your case. And you know, you see the man's hand, you see what he was suffering with. And so this is another picture of him here. You see on the side of his skin and his face. And so that's Dwayne Johnson, the first person to take Roundup Maker to the trial. And so here it is right here. How he looks, you know, his hand looked worse than the other photo. But, well, may not be getting 289 million after all. That was said and done here. And he's got this lawyer to thank for that. And so sometimes lawyers can be really beneficial in a case, and in other times they may jeopardize a situation and make things or matters worse. And so with that being said, what would you do if this were you? Fire your lawyer, get a new one? Or is it too much money invested in this? Just take the whittled down payout and that's it and let it go. But his health is on the line. A lot of questions, a lot of wondering why. Why would somebody do this to jeopardize the case? Thanks for listening.